Hello, my 8th grade students. I hope you are all doing well and healthy. This is Miss Morale here. This is this week's art lesson. As you remember, we practiced 2-point perspective last week. And this week we're going to draw a city with using 2-point perspective. Alright, the materials we're going to use are, of course, a piece of paper. We're gonna need a ruler, a pencil, not a mechanical pencil, and an eraser. If you have a soft eraser, it's also fine. Okay, first things first, let's start with drawing a horizon line. A horizon line is a line which defines our eye level. And it's a straight line around the middle of your paper. It's a horizontal line. And next thing we're gonna draw is our vanishing points. I named them vanishing point 1 and 2 to each side of my horizon line. And like we started last week, we are going to start drawing the corner of our building. Last week we drew the corner of our box first, and this week we're going to draw buildings. We're going to draw a city, and we start with the corner of our first building and draw a straight line from the bottom and top of this vertical line to the vanishing points, from left side to the vanishing point number 1, to the right side vanishing point number 2. If you make mistakes, you can always erase it like this. Alright, I am almost done with my straight lines to the vanishing point. Now it's time to decide how big, how wide my building is going to be. This is my building. I decide this to be this wide. Your buildings can be wider or more narrow. It's your decision. Okay. Once I'm done with my first building, I'm gonna go ahead and draw some more buildings to the right side of this first one. I want this to be taller than my first building. So the bottom line is already done, so I don't need to redraw the bottom line. I'm going to go ahead and draw the straight line to the vanishing points from the top of my vertical line. Be sure that you're drawing exactly to the vanishing point. Each time you're drawing, you should check. Okay, here I'm just gonna draw a little part because it just vanishes behind the building, so I don't need to draw all the way to the vanishing point. Okay, next thing, again, decide the wideness of your building. This is gonna be a little wider than my first one. I love to use the element variety on my drawing. Okay, the next thing, I'm going to draw a third building over here. Again, I start with drawing a corner. I want this one to be a short one because I want to draw a small market here. Even shorter. So connect with the vanishing point, decide the width. And don't forget to draw to the other vanishing point like I did. Okay, now I have, again, I'm not drawing all the way, just that little bit over there. Now I have 3 buildings and I'm going to draw a 4th one over here. This is going to be my last building. I want this to be a tall one as well, but not the tallest one. So slightly shorter than the last one I did. Sorry, the first one I did. And again, after we decide how tall it's going to be after you draw the corner. Connect the tip with the vanishing point. Decide the width, and I want this one to be the widest because I am going to draw a cinema here. Okay, I am done with all of my buildings. I have 4 here. You can do more, but for me 4 is enough. Now I'm going to draw a sidewalk down here. Again, I start with the corner, but this is going to be a sidewalk, so I have a short corner, guys. It's a short vertical line. Again, connect the top and the bottom of this vertical line to the vanishing point. And the other side, of course, as well. Okay, once I have these, I want my sidewalk to end where my buildings end. So I'm going to decide where they are going to end, and then I'm going to draw small vertical lines on my sidewalk because I'm going to make a pattern. I'm going to use the element pattern here to create the sidewalk pattern like we have in Istanbul. And while you're drawing this, keep in mind they are going to get closer and closer when they go near to the vanishing point. So they are going to be shorter and closer to each other when they go near to the vanishing point. Now I'm going to draw a surface to these. Now they look 2D, and with one more line I'm going to make them look 3D. Okay. Now, this line over here needs to be also 3D. So each short line I made, I will connect them with the vanishing point. I hold one side of my ruler still and move the other side. One side of the ruler always stays on the vanishing point, and you need to move the other side. And keep doing this repeatedly. You don't need to draw all the way to the vanishing point. You just can draw enough to define your sidewalk. So just short lines are enough. You don't need to draw all the way to the vanishing point. Until it finishes, keep drawing. And once you're done with one side, go ahead and do the other side. Connect the other side to the opposite vanishing point. Hold the ruler on the vanishing point still, and move your ruler like a compass so you can draw the lines you need to make it look like more 3D. Keep drawing until you finish. Pay attention how I'm moving my ruler. One side still, the side on the vanishing point still. I'm not moving it at all. Even you think that you're not moving it, I suggest you to check every single time you're moving your ruler if the other side is on the vanishing point. Safe and still. Okay, now I'm done with my sidewalk as well. I'm going to erase some unnecessary lines over here, but I'm going to keep the vanishing points because I'm going to need them when I'm going to draw the details. Okay, now I'm going to do some windows and doors and make the city look more realistic with the windows. What I did to start here, I drew a gap between the corner of the building and my windows, and this side and I decided how big my windows are going to be and how wide the gaps between the windows are going to be. I will draw a big window building, like this building have huge windows, and here I'm drawing a gap to the other side as well. And after you marked the starts of your window, now just connect them with the vanishing points. Again, you don't need to move your ruler the side on the vanishing point, but just check every single time if it's at the correct spot, and keep drawing the lines. After you do this, you can add more windows with drawing straight lines. These straight lines are supposed to be vertical, parallel to the edges of your paper, and perpendicular to your horizon line. You can freehand like I did if you trust your eye, or you can just go ahead and draw it with ruler. Both are fine. It doesn't have to be freehand or with ruler, just anything you feel comfortable yourself. If you don't feel like it's correct, you can always check it with the ruler. Here I'm going to fast forward and do the details of my building. Again, here I'm drawing windows and the details to the other building as well. While you're doing this, I want you to look around from your window and look at the buildings in your neighborhood and try to understand how wide the windows are, how tall the doors are. If you have a little market like this, you can look at that. If you have a cinema like I'm drawing here, look at that. Or even you can, if you have skyscrapers around your neighborhood, you can just draw taller buildings and try to do skyscrapers. I just want you to be accurate with the heights of the windows and the doors. And now once you're done, you can just erase the vanishing points. You don't need them anymore. And I want also you to do a little bit of shading. So decide your light source and do a little bit of shading. I'm just going to show you a little part of the city, but I want you to do more. And once you're done with the shading, your city is complete, guys. Good job. This is all for this week's art lesson. And once you are finished your artwork, you can send to my email address. I would really like to see your creations. Thanks so much for watching, and see you guys next week. Bye, guys.